Hey everybody, welcome back to Bonsai Tortoise.
Today is Spring Prep Part 2.
So we already started prepping these tortoise enclosures for spring, and where we left it off was we had finished the redfoot house, or the redfoot hide, and just kind of turned some of this stuff over and dug this trench for the new Herman's enclosure. So today we're going to put the walls in for the Herman's enclosure, maybe seed a little bit, and go from there.
And we built this enclosure. We buried chicken wire along the entire inside perimeter and secured it to the wall so we can best ensure there'd be no escapes. So when adding this new wall for the Herman's area, we're just sinking the bottom board most of the way down. We can always bury chicken wire later if digging becomes an issue, but what we do know is that they can't dig out the exterior walls because of the chicken wire that's already there.
All right, so here's the frame of our new Herman's and Tortoise enclosure.
And our new Redfoot enclosure.
And there's the redfoot enclosure.
We pretty much just dug, since our dad had dug the hole, a big hole last video. We have just put 2 planks in.
So we put two 2x12s in here. One is buried a little bit halfway, give or take. So there's no digging out. And we have our corner pieces in there, so there's no climbing up the corners. We dug up a lot of the area. So now the next thing is to plant seed, right? Right.
Yep.
So for the Herman's enclosure, that'll be the food block. I think I'm going to put their house right there where under that box is, because they get good morning sun along that wall. That is a failed attempt for me to make a water trough, which didn't work, and I'll probably knock it out or try to fix it, but it's staying like that for now. So we got to build a shelter. We get the seed. So seeding is next.
The seeds we're adding are all weeds that most people would hate to have in their lawns, but they're good for tortoises, so we're adding them here. It's a mix of dandelion, clover, marshmallow, and plantain. All of these grow naturally here, or they're invasive. So I'd likely get them without seeding. But by seeding, we're just giving everything a jump start.
Okay, everything's seeded. A little roughly, we just kind of threw it around. So we put basically a bunch of weeds in here that everyone tries to get rid of in their lawn. We put them in our tortoise pens, so they'll have something good to nibble on. So here we still got to do their hide. We'll do something there. Get them a water dish, maybe a couple rocks, some more places to hide in. So that's that. That's that. So all this looks like crap now, but in a few weeks, this place will be very, very, very green. So another thing we're doing, because, why not, is we're going to plant some prickly pear seeds. So what I ordered some of these eastern prickly pear seeds. So these grow native where I'm located. They're not very common, but they are native. I haven't had much luck growing these, probably because either the soil's too wet or not enough sun or whatever. But I have tried growing them from pads. So this is what the eastern prickly pear looks like. So I planted this pad last year in this pot. You can see the new growth coming up. And this, once the warm weather comes, I'll find a nice sunny place in the yard and plant this. So this will turn into bee food. But these do have spines, but they do grow native, so maybe I can actually get a half decent crop out of them. I got a couple of these started, so that's that. This is a different species than this, which I grew this plant. I'll cut out real quick and show you my full-size plant. It does okay. I've grown it for a number of years. It doesn't put out as enough pads for me to consistently feed the tortoises. In the summertime, it does put out more. You can see all those fresh pads and those fresh buds starting. But I'd like something that's a little bit more consistent. That came from a cutting from a larger plant in Florida. And I brought it up here and I planted it in and it grows. But I do pull these pads off and give them to them. The downside to this plant, underneath all these little rubbery type spines are other spines, and I'm not sure how good they're going to come up, but there are spines in it. They don't hurt, they're just annoying as heck. So I'd like to grow really spineless prickly pear. So I ordered these pads off of someone on Instagram, and these are, forgive me, I forget what the scientific name is for them, but they're a variegated form prickly pear. And when I got these in, they had no spines. So maybe these will grow really good in a spineless way, but these are not suited to my climate outdoors, whereas this is. I've never grown cactus seeds before, but we'll give it a shot. I guess it can't be that hard. In this tray we have a mix of mostly just straight peat moss and a little bit of sand. So the packet's accurate. If you look right here, it says 5 seeds, and I got 5 seeds. So we'll see what happens. So the packet said 5. It gave me 6, so I guess I got 1 free seed. Big whoop. So this whole row right here is these eastern prickly pear seeds. We'll see what happens. But I have this whole thing, so why waste it? So I got some just chickweed, which grows totally naturally around me. But why waste the space? So I'm going to throw this chickweed in here. We'll grow it up, and it'll be good for the tortoises. And here's a closer look at those eastern prickly pear pads. So I planted these pads in the fall in these pots, and they started to bud back a few months ago. Actually, this is probably only a few weeks growth, to be honest with you. These will be planted in the yard somewhere. I might even build a raised bed type planter thing inside one of the tortoise enclosures, so it grows there. We'll see. But these are cold hardy in my area. The trick is finding an area that's well lit, that's real sunny, and that's dry enough that doesn't get overly moist. So I think I can probably make it work. We'll see. I've never had much success growing these, but I think I've been doing it wrong all the time. So we shall see. You can also see right here, see those little spines? They don't hurt, but they're annoying as all heck. But if these are cold hardy and they grow year round, it just makes sense to try to make it work and deal with the spines. There are truly spineless forms. So this is that variegated Opuntia that I got off of Instagram that I mentioned. These pads don't have any spines on them. I'm gonna grow these out to see if, once I grow them out, if that ends up being spineless as well, once it starts reproducing on itself. If so, I will take my other plant that's planted way back there out, get rid of that, and replace it with these. So it's all one big experiment, but it's a good experiment. It's well worth it. So now it's a few days later, but today's high is 80 degrees. It's nice and sunny out. So I figured these enclosures are far from being done yet, but I figured I'd bring them all out. So this is our Greeks. Our Hermans are out, and the Redwoods. So I just put them in here. We'll explore things and check things out. But what's cool is these guys, brand new enclosure, chowing down on some weeds, getting some good UVB. It's awesome. Greeks chowing down on some weeds. He's not leaving her alone. He wants to mate. But looking good. These guys won't be out here overnight. I'll bring them back in because it's going to get chilly tonight. I might leave the Greeks and the Hermans out. We'll see. Of course, I don't have a shelter yet for the Hermans, but we'll see. So there you go. All right, now onto our hatchling enclosure, or juvenile hatchling enclosure. So each one of these corrals basically will have a different species or size of tortoise in it. So this will be for our juvenile redfoots. This will be for the younger hatchling redfoots, and so on down the line. So I cleaned it all up, added that last panel in there, and we have a bunch of seeds we're putting in there. So we got mallow and purple dental, dandelions, chickweed, English plantain. So we're going to do that now. The hatchling enclosure is as done as it's going to be. So we seeded with all kinds of stuff. Everyone has either a feed block, some kind of paver, or regular rocks to feed off of. We also added in sticks and some rocks and stuff for interest. A couple of them we added some hens and chicks, and some there's some creeping thyme in here as well. So these guys, it's the end of March right now. They won't come out here until around May something, probably towards the end of May. So this has more than enough time to kind of jump up and start growing. So I also added, for those that didn't have it, some additional hides back there under that overhang. So yeah, we're good to go here. All right, a couple days later, we added some sedum, different kinds of sedum, some petunias, some heather. And then in the Herman side, we added a bunch of rocks and sticks and plants and stuff like that. So right now it's just a waiting game. The only thing we got to do in the Herman's area is build a house. We're going to build a little hide for them over there. We didn't do much of anything on the Redfoot side. I think I'm going to add in something that kind of mimics some kind of more of a tropical plant, like hostas and stuff. No tropical plant will last the winter up here, but something that looks a little bit more tropical as opposed to the more Mediterranean stuff on these two enclosures. So we'll see, but we have a few weeks for that because those plants aren't even available yet. All right, so that's all for this update for now. Probably the next update will be when I bring all these guys out here. Full disclosure, I have been bringing out my Greeks on really nice days. They are doing what Greeks do. Yeah, so they've been going in at night, but on nice days they've been coming out. All right, well that's all for now. Hopefully you enjoyed this video or got something out of it, and we'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.